Chapter 13 Book 1 of Rookwood.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This reading by Paul Curran. Rookwood by William Harrison Ainsworth. Book 1, Chapter 13 The Brothers. We're sorry his violent act had e'en been drawn blood of honour, and stained our honours, thrown ink upon the forehead of our fame, which envious spirits will dip their pens into after our death, and blot us in our tombs. For that which would seem treason in our lives is laughter when we're dead. Who dares now whisper that dares not then speak out, and even proclaim, with loud words and broad pens, our closest shame? The Revenger's Tragedy. With that quickness of perception which at once supplies information on such an emergency, Luke instantly conjectured who was before him. Startled as he was, he yet retained his composure, abiding the result with his arms folded upon his breast. "Seize him!" cried Lady Rookwood, as soon as she could command her speech. "He rushes on his death if he stirs," exclaimed Luke, pointing his pistol. "Bethink you where you are, villain," cried Ranulph. "You are entrapped in your own toils. Submit yourself to our mercy. Resistance is vain, and will not secure your safety, while it will aggravate your offence. Surrender yourself." "Never," answered Luke. "Know you whom you ask to yield?" "How should I?" answered Ranulph. "By that instinct which tells me who you are. Ask Lady Rookwood. She can inform you if she will." "Parley not with him. Seize him," cried Lady Rookwood. "He's a robber, a murderer, who has assailed my life." "Beware," said Luke to Ranulph, who was preparing to obey his mother's commands. "I am no robber, no murderer. Do not you make me a fratricide." "Fratricide!" echoed Luke. "Heed him not," ejaculated Lady Rookwood. "It is false. He dares not harm thee. For his soul, I will call assistance." "Hold, mother," exclaimed Ranulph, detaining Lady Rookwood. "This man may be what he represents himself. Before we proceed to extremities, I would question him. I would not have mentioned it in your hearing could it have been avoided, but my father had another son." Lady Rookwood frowned. She would have checked him, but Luke rejoined, "You have spoken the truth. He had a son. I am he. Be silent, I command you," said Lady Rookwood. "Death!" cried Luke, in a loud voice. "Why should I be silent at your bidding, at yours, who regard no laws human or divine, who pursue your own fell purposes without fear of God or man? Waste not your frowns on me. I heed them not. Do you think I'm like a tame hound, to be cowed to silence? I will speak. Ranulph Rookwood, the name you bear is mine, and by a right as good as is your own. From his loins, who lies a corpse before us, I sprang. No brand of shame is on my birth. I am your father's son, his firstborn, your elder brother. Hear me," cried he, rushing to the bier. "By this body I swear that I have avouched the truth. And though to me the dead Sir Piers Rookwood hath never been what a father should be to a son, though I have never known his smile, felt his caresses, or received his blessing, yet now be all forgiven, all forgotten." And he cast himself with frantic violence upon the coffin. It is difficult to describe the feelings with which Ranulph heard Luke's avowal. Amazement and dread predominated. Unable to stir, he stood gazing on in silence. Not so Lady Rookwood. The moment for action was arrived. Addressing her son in a low tone, she said, "Your prey is within your power. Secure him." "Wherefore?" rejoined Ranulph. "If he be my brother, shall I raise my hand against him?" "Wherefore not?" returned Lady Rookwood. "'Twere an accursed deed," replied Ranulph. "The mystery is resolved. 'Twas for this that I was summoned home." "Ha! What you say? Summoned? By whom?" "My father." "Your father?" echoed Lady Rookwood, in great surprise. "Ay, my dead father. He has appeared to me since his decease." "Ranulph, you rave. You are distracted with grief, with astonishment." "No, mother, but I will not struggle against my destiny." "Pshaw! Your destiny is Rookwood, its manors, its lands, its rent roll, and its title. Nor shall you yield it to a base born churl like this. Let him prove his rights. Let the law adjudge them to him, and we will yield. but not till then. I tell thee he has not the right, nor can he maintain it. He is a deluded dreamer, who, having heard some idle tale of his birth, believes it because it chimes with his wishes. I treated him with the scorn he deserves. I would have driven him from my presence, but he was armed, as you see, and forced me hither, perhaps to murder me, a deed he might have accomplished had it not been for your intervention. His life is already forfeit, for an attempt of the same sort last night. Why else came he hither? For what else did he drag me to this spot? Let him answer that." "I will answer it," replied Luke, raising himself from the bier. His face was ghastly as the corpse over which he leaned. "I had a deed to do, which I wished you to witness. It was a wild conception, but the means by which I have acquired the information of my rights were wild. Ranulph, we are both the slaves of fate. You have received your summons hither. I have had mine. Your father's ghost called you. My mother's spectral hand beckoned me. Both are arrived. One thing more remains, and my mission is completed." Saying which, he drew forth the skeleton hand, and having first taken the wedding ring from the finger, he placed the withered limb upon the left breast of his father's body. "Rest there," he cried, "forever." "Will you suffer that?" said Lady Rookwood tauntingly to her son. "No," replied Ranulph. "Such profanation of the dead shall not be endured, were he 10 times my brother. Stand aside," added he, advancing towards the bier, and motioning Luke away. "Withdraw your hand from my father's body, and remove what you have placed upon it." "I will neither remove it, nor suffer it to be removed," returned Luke. "'Twas for that purpose I came hither. 'Twas to that hand he was united in life. In death he shall not be divided from it." "Such irreverence shall not be," exclaimed Ranulph, seizing Luke with one hand, and snatching at the cereclothes with the other. "Remove it, or by heaven " "Leave go your hold," said Luke, in a voice of thunder. "You strive in vain." Ranulph ineffectually attempted to push him backwards, and, shaking away the grasp that was fixed upon his collar, seized his brother's wrist, so as to prevent the accomplishment of his purpose. In this unnatural and indecorous strife, the corpse of their father was reft of its covering, and the hand discovered lying upon the pallid breast. And as if the wanton impiety of their conduct called forth an immediate rebuke, even from the dead, a frown seemed to pass over Sir Piers's features, as their angry glances fell in that direction. This startling effect was occasioned by the approach of Lady Rookwood, whose shadow, falling over the brow and visage of the deceased, produced the appearance we have described. Simultaneously quitting each other with a deep sense of shame, mingled with remorse, both remained, their eyes fixed upon the dead, whose repose they had violated. Folding the grave clothes decently over the body, Luke prepared to depart. "Hold!" cried Lady Rookwood. "You go not thence." "My brother Ranulph will not oppose my departure," returned Luke. "Who else shall prevent it?" "That will I," cried a sharp voice behind him; and, ere he could turn to ascertain from whom the exclamation proceeded, Luke felt himself grappled by 2 nervous assailants, who, snatching the pistol from his hold, fast pinioned his arms. This was scarcely the work of a moment, and he was a prisoner before he could offer any resistance. A strong smile of exultation evinced Lady Rookwood's satisfaction. "Bravo, my lads, bravo!" cried Coates, stepping forward, for it was he under whose skilful superintendence the seizure had been effected. "Famously managed. My father, the thief takers runners, couldn't have done it better. Hand me that pistol. Loaded, I see. Slugs, no doubt. Oh, he's a precious rascal. Search him. Turn his pockets inside out, while I speak to her ladyship." Saying which, the brisk attorney, enchanted with the feat he had performed, approached Lady Rookwood with a profound bow, and an amazing smirk of self-satisfaction. "Just in time to prevent mischief," said he. "Hope your ladyship does not suffer any inconvenience from the alarm beg pardon, annoyance, I meant to say, which this horrible outrage must have occasioned. Excessively disagreeable, this sort of thing, to a lady at any time, but at a period like this more than usually provoking. However, we have the villains safe enough. Very lucky I happened to be in the way. Perhaps your ladyship would like to know how I discovered " "Not now," replied Lady Rookwood, checking the volubility of the man of law. "I thank you.